Just a quick 1-hour session today, just to introduce you to the Probeta team, for those of you who don't know who we are yet, or maybe just to remind you of the products we offer and some new products that we are developing and looking into. So starting out this session, I would just like to introduce you to our team. You may have met some of us in person. You may have heard our voices either on a training session or over the phone. So just to put the faces to the voices. First up, the presenters. Of course, at Probeta Training, we have our full-time presenters, which is on the screen. And then we also have some contracted in presenters, especially on the tax side, that Corlia will show you later on. But just to introduce you to our full-time team, we have Lynette Badenhorst, who is our managing director, the owner of Probeta, the brain behind everything. She is mostly on the auditing sessions and then the trainee audit sessions, those trainee inductions and 5-day sessions for them. Then we have Yvonne Rousseau, that is me. I am, in addition to being a presenter, I'm also at Probeta Training the Deputy Information Officer for POPI purposes. So I am the expert of all things legislative and corporate governance, speak up, POPI, labor, corporate governance. So all of those training sessions you will get from me. And then I'm also doing some of the auditing sessions. Then we have Lynette Berger, who is our expert on everything SAICA and SAIPA. So she runs the SAICA competency training, the My Skills portal, the continual ethics program, and then also the tall trees profiling, which of course we quite enjoy that training. For those of you who haven't done it yet, I would really suggest it. It's good to get to know your personality at work, which, as we all know, is not necessarily always the same as your personality at home. Then Mr. Tristan White, the only man with the ladies. He is our accounting expert, so he does the accounting sessions and then also Microsoft training. And you may have also heard him on some of the auditing sessions that he presents as well. Lastly, but definitely not least, we have Corlia Fourie, who is our tax expert. She does all the tax sessions and then also the 3 hours ethics session specifically on the code of conduct. She has quite a strong take on ethics, and especially when it comes to tax. So we're very proud to have her there. Then I would also like to introduce you to our office ladies. You will see all women. Narissa, who you may have spoken to quite a lot on the phone. She is our training coordinator, especially with in-house dealing with clients, closing deals, and so on. Then we have Gillian, who you also may have spoken to quite a lot, as she runs up the webinars and makes sure everything runs smoothly there. She's also a presenter of some soft skill sessions, so you may have tuned into some of her sessions as well. Connie helps us out on the virtual training and webinars when Narissa or Gillian is not available. She also does course administration and the accounts. Precious is our lady in the office helping out on the admin side, assessments. If there's any issues with assessments, you may deal with her. And then lastly, Yvonne van Eck, which does the marketing, and then she also does the tax guides and calendars. So for those of you who purchase tax guides and calendars, you would definitely deal quite a lot with her. Right, so without further ado, let's look at our agenda today and what we are going to talk to you about. Quickly going to lay out the different training platforms we have at Probeta. Of course, unfortunately, due to COVID, most of them being virtual, unless we do in-house sessions. Then we will look at specific training areas that we do cover. We will also talk about our CPD and self-assessment platform for all these SAICA and IRBA members, well, any professional accountants really. We will look at our other products. Of course, we do not just do training. We also do practice manuals and guides to help companies to comply with certain legislations. And then very, very exciting, please do stay until the end. We are launching a brand new product, a brand new platform called the Compliance Hubs, which will hopefully revolutionize how you will do your training. It's going to make it a lot cheaper. So please remain on the line to hear about that. Right. Starting us off then with the different training platforms. Of course, due to COVID, it has become extremely difficult to do face-to-face training sessions unless we are doing in-house. So most of our items are done virtually, but it seems that most of our clients do enjoy it that way. So you will see public training. Yes, we do public training currently where we do full day sessions, week-long sessions, but it's all virtual. So that will actually fall under our virtual training. Hopefully, we will see again some face-to-face sessions in future. It just depends, of course, on the new normal that we are getting used to. In-house training, that's of course if you want a session, but you don't necessarily want to book per person. It can become quite expensive, especially if you have 10 or more delegates. So then you can book in-house training, which we will charge you a fixed fee, no matter how many delegates you have. So that can make things a bit cheaper. And there, of course, we can tailor the training to your specific needs, any topic you would like. For that, you can contact Narissa. Most of them currently done virtually, but of course, if you do comply with proper COVID requirements and it is safe to do so, we can do face-to-face at your offices or in another venue should you want to do so. Then we have our virtual training and webinars, which is also live sessions. Difference between the two, virtual training is our full day practical sessions where we really want people to participate, answer questions, ask questions, do the exercises. Whereas webinars is just a quick 2-hour or 3-hour technical session or update. And for those, the webinars, of course, we do provide the recordings afterwards as well. So the virtual training is a per person booking, whereas the webinars can be done as a firm as well. Those are the live training sessions. We also then, of course, have the option for the catch-up if you cannot attend the live training sessions. So we have recordings, we have the online training, which is our Akonani training solutions that we already launched last year. Once you've purchased the session, you have a profile and all your sessions are sitting there, the material, the recording, the post-assessment, your certificate, everything all together in the same place, and you can never lose it, I think, which is quite a benefit there. And then, as I said, we're bringing our brand new hubs up and running as well. We also have the My Skills portal, which is where we cater for the residual skills for SAICA and SAIPA trainees. So same idea where they have a profile with all their sessions on and all their interactions, but because there's a portfolio of evidence that needs to be done, it is dealt with separately. But more on that later when Lynette Berger explains that. So those are the different training platforms. Hopefully we can cater for everyone through those training platforms. Moving on then to the specific training areas. Now, to be honest, our auditing, of course, mostly auditing, accounting, and tax sessions, those are our flagship sessions because those are for the accounting profession, which is our biggest clients, is the accounting and auditing profession. But please just take note that we do provide training in other areas as well, right? Legislation, governance, Companies Act, King, FICA, all of those. So if you're ever not sure, you can always just ask. Send an email and say, do you provide training in this topic? If not, we can get someone in to do it. So don't worry if the training that you are specifically looking for is perhaps not in the slides today or not under these topics. We can make a plan. But with that being said, let's look at the specific topics that we do already have sessions for that we provide on a year-to-year basis. And the first one is auditing, which is, of course, as we saw earlier, presented either by me or Lynette or Tristan, depending on the type of auditing topic. We do split it in terms of levels and competency. So we split it out: first year trainees, second year, third years, managers and partners. You will see the topics do overlap, but we try and adapt the training looking at the level of people who will attend. So if it's a full day session, usually it's more junior people where we do exercises and practical examples, and that will be the virtual training. On the other hand, for the more senior individuals, we do the webinars, which of course focuses maybe more on the issues experience, technical queries, maybe an update. For first years, our flagship course is the Junior Audit Simulations, which is a 5-day session that takes them in detail through execution on an audit, making sure they can practically implement those vast technical knowledge and skills that they have obtained during university. For second years, our flagship is the planning, of course. I'm helping them to plan the audits, and that we can do per software. So we do provide these training sessions either on Caseware or DraftWorks. Of course, if you are using a different software, let us know. Maybe we can look at adapting the training sessions for that. And then we also have the specific audit sessions, such as your trust account sessions, body corporate, schools, estate agents, which are done by Tristan. And this year we also started with the trust engagements for a sheriff and a fresh produce agent. So those are also now available. For third year trainees, our flagship product is the finalizing the audit. That's of course their what they focus on. So looking at helping them to hone their skills in finalizing the engagement. And then finally, for managers and partners, as I said, we try and adapt the training per level. So these are shorter sessions. I wouldn't necessarily recommend managers or partners to attend a full day or a whole week. It's a lot more focused towards the junior personnel. But for them, we do have the shorter webinars, the shorter courses. If you are new to a specific software, I would definitely suggest the audit methodology sessions on Caseware or DraftWorks, which is a 2-day session focusing specifically on the software. And then our flagship product for managers and partners is our session on improving audit quality, which is a full day session looking at, the pitfalls, the issues, IRBA reviews, feedback. What is going wrong with our audit quality? Why is it going wrong? How can we do a root cause analysis and how can we fix that? So that is it from my side with regards to the auditing topics. Thank you very much. I am then handing over to Tristan to take you through the accounting.
So my duty today is just to introduce you to the accounting related topics that we have in store for you guys. And so I'm the go-to person when it comes to anything accounting. So whether it's to do with IFRS or IFRS for SMEs, amongst others, I'm the person that then either gives the training or helps in terms of the consulting or any questions and stuff like that. So pretty much when we think about the training offering, our goal, especially when it comes to IFRS and IFRS for SMEs, is to try and put you in a position where you are compliant, where you are in line with the requirements per the IFRS standards or otherwise the IFRS for SME standards. And so we offer various sessions covering an array of topics. And so the idea is to, on the one hand, refresh you, but then also to give you a practical understanding. And so we don't just focus on the requirements and the theory, but we also try and help you visualize with the entries, the debits, the credits, that kind of thing. And then as mentioned, if there are any questions in relation to a given standard, or if there's a transaction, maybe yourself or otherwise your clients have entered into, and you just want a second pair of eyes to look at the transaction, just to understand if it was accounted for appropriately or otherwise disclosed or something like that, we are here to offer that help. And so just some topics of special mention. So the big ones in terms of IFRS, the more recent ones that have come out, the IFRS 15, 16, and 9, so revenue, leases, and financial instruments, those are definitely topics that we've done training on before, but this isn't it. There are several other ones. And so in terms of IFRS for SMEs, pretty much a similar approach there. We want to try and help upskill you and also put you in a position where you have practical understanding. And then in terms of those topics, we have PPE, inventory, income tax, amongst others. So they are way more than what we've listed here. This is just a bit of a sneak peek at some of the topics that we have covered. And so the idea behind that training is we want to try and get you up to speed in a matter of 2 to 3 hours. So our sessions range from around about 2 to 3 hours. And so typically when you're doing this at Varsity, it often takes weeks to get through a given standard or topic. And so we try and make your life easy by trying to bring in all the principles, as many as is possible, including disclosures, amongst others, within the space of 2 to 3 hours. So I definitely think it's quite a bit of value for what you get in the amount of time. Aside from that, we also have special industries. So for example, it will be your body corporates, estate agents, attorneys, public schools, and homeowners associations. And so we refer to those as special audits or special industries. And so we offer accounting training, so understanding how the accounting would work or what is to go into a set of financial statements, as well as the legal side of things. So what does the legislation that governs over that industry have to say about the accounting, about the audit, and about how those businesses run. And so we have the accounting side, the legal side, and then also the audit considerations. So from planning all the way through to finalization, we have various sessions that will then delve into that. And so if you need a session that just looks at the act, for that industry, we have a session on that. If you're looking for just an audit focus, we've got that. Accounting wise, we've got that an intro to that industry. So if it's a first timer, we've also got that maybe for a new intake of trainees. And so we have quite a few options there. And we also try and train on the software packages. So for example, we have Caseware who has moved their attorneys to their attorney engagements to the cloud. We have Caseware cloud training. And then, for example, we also have DraftWorks in terms of attorneys. Moving on from that, we have tax-related accounting. So it almost sounds like they're at opposite ends or at odds. So tax accounting, how do you reconcile that? Of course, when it comes to your tax calculations, what we often have to do is, per the IFRSs, is that we need to go and include disclosures, and we have to have explanations of how we had sort of come to the amount for current tax, or otherwise for deferred tax. And so we have training sessions where we help you compute the current tax amount, otherwise the deferred tax, and give you sort of a methodology, and then also how to bring that into a set of financial statements. So what should the disclosure look like? We also then expand on that by looking at how does one then audit for current tax, or otherwise for deferred tax. And so that is what we cover in relation to our tax accounting, or the accounting side of our tax items or line items. And then finally, to bring everything together, we have the soft skills side of accounting. In other words, you've got all this theoretical knowledge, but now we need to go and practically apply it. And so being used to, or being able to utilize Word and Excel can go a long way in terms of how you service your clients in terms of an efficiency perspective. And so we also then try and train with the focus on the auditing profession, on the accounting profession, when we look at Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Word. So how can we make your life easier in those industries, in sort of those areas when utilizing your day-to-day software? So preparing your working papers, what are the shortcuts, what are sort of little skill sets and functions from within those software packages to then help you from an efficiency perspective. And so if you have a new intake of trainees, we can help them get up to speed with how to use Excel in an efficient manner. If you are a little bit more experienced, we can also then try and help you from that perspective. And then something that we started towards the end of this year, so maybe the last month or two, is to look at GRAP training. And so when it comes to GRAP training, this is something that's slightly new for us. And so we're trying to build up a portfolio of topics or standards within the GRAP side of things. So in other words, our government clients and the accounting standards that they have to comply with. And so we are busy building up as many training sessions as we can in relation to that to cover all of the standards. So investment property, PPE, intangibles, all of that, but in the context of GRAP. And so be on the lookout for those. Something we're definitely looking to move into. And if you have questions, you're also then welcome to reach out to us. From me, that's all for now. I'm going to pass on to the next presenter. Thank you.
That then brings us to the tax specific training area, ladies and gentlemen. As Yvonne mentioned with the introduction, I am primarily responsible for that internally with Probeta training, but we have a whole team that assists with that there. So myself and Tristan, we both present on taxes. I'm more on the tax technical side, so where Tristan will be able to help you with how to merge that with the accounting. I'm more on the tax law and interpreting the law and tax administration and all of that. And then we also have our two external presenters, Professor Jackie Orenser and Carmen Westermeyer, that also joins us on this team to present on taxation topics. So we've just tried to summarize there the main groups that we have. You'll see there the main tax types, all of your overall groups, if I can call them that. And then your entity specific types, depending on what kind of trade you are conducting and how you are doing so, your detailed topics, international tax and tax administration. So you often find that a lot of the tax matters are entailed in one of these topics or one of these sessions. But of course, there might be topics that you want to see specifically. In that case, you're welcome to ask them for an in-house course. If you want more, if you want less, then you're welcome to contact us. Or if you're just unsure what we have on the list. But I think this is quite a comprehensive overview of the tax-specific topics that we do have available with us. Also, forms part of the webinar structure. So your shorter sessions, 1.5 to 2 hours, 3 hours. We try and max it at 3 hours. We know that attention spans become shorter and time becomes few. So we are trying to keep it short, sweet, and simple. We do also offer tax assistance. I do not call it advice. Please do not take it as tax opinions. We are not in ourselves. We are not registered tax practitioners. So unfortunately, we cannot issue formal opinions, but we can at least help where we do have the knowledge to do so, or ask friend, phone a colleague, and see how we can assist and just help each other along the way, because taxes tend to be one of the tricky situations that we find ourselves in. And then this year, we also have the exciting news of being accredited with the SAIT, with the Tax Practitioner Regulatory Body, and in partnership with them in order to facilitate and encourage training with their members. We also offer a 20% discount on the tax webinars that are presented live at Probeta training. And we've just decided to summarize these steps there, how members can access their discounts and all of the limitations, of course, thereon. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to ask of you, if you are a SAIT member, please do have a look at these instructions. It's extremely important that you follow these steps. You'll see the emphasis is placed on the delegate profile. The SAIT member discount is only available for individual bookings on live tax webinars. And of course, in order to facilitate your discount, well, our system will need to know that you are a SAIT member. So we would need you to update your delegate profile then with your SAIT membership number. And we have included the steps there. You'll see the link there for the detailed instructions. Please do follow them carefully. It is absolutely necessary, as we cannot apply the discount manually. The system, we are very spoiled and pampered in that manner, where the system does everything for us. But in order to facilitate that, we do need you to also then just update your delegate profile so that we know as well that you are a SAIT member and what your SAIT membership number is. But of course, when you look at the SAIT's website, all of the CPD events that they list under Probeta training, the instructions are also available there. We've also published a notice there to urge you to please go and update your profile so that you can access this discount. Of course, no discount is unfortunately allocated to recordings or firm bookings. If you have an MUS subscription, if you are a monthly update user, then unfortunately you don't get double discount. So only either or. We will, however, be applying the most favorable discount. So you will still benefit from that. And if you are not an MUS subscriber, then your SAIT discount will apply. And then flowing through from that, of course, for those of you who might not know what an MUS subscriber is, well, that is the subscription package that we do have available here at Probeta Training that allows you access to monthly updates. And that's something that is very important in our profession. Having the knowledge of what is going on around you and what has changed in the last month. Everything changes every day. So from our side, our bit of value add for you is simply to save you time and effort and money. Of course, we know that everyone has very little time. We are stressed for time all the time. And for that reason, Yvonne and myself, we run monthly updates. Yvonne facilitating the monthly legislative updates, which is the overall grouping. So everything, ladies and gentlemen, accounting standards, auditing standards, the laws and regulations, even your legal and your labor matters that changed in the recent month. These updates run every single month. And then, of course, should you subscribe as an MUS user, then you qualify for a little bit more discount. So 25% discount on all of our training webinars, all of the Probeta training courses. And that is not limited to taxes. So if you are a SAIT member, then you may still subscribe for this and you will gain access to discount on any other webinar as well. You are welcome to use the links that we've included to access more information on how the subscription works, or you can contact Yvonne or Narissa, and then we will assist from our side. From my side, I deal with the monthly tax updates. This is, it forms part of the monthly legislative updates, of course, but for the tax side, we do go into more detail. We expand on all of the tax specific matters that happened in the last month or so, and anything SARS, anything that happened within the SARS system that we do know about. We try and scratch out all of the information that we can find and then give it through to you in a concise and hopefully understandable manner. That is our aim and our purpose for this. Right, but for now, that is it from my side. Lynette Berger, my colleague, is going to take over to explain the MySkills portal.
All right, so I'm Lynette Berger, and I am responsible for the competency skills training when it comes to SAPA trainees, and even CIMA trainees. And maybe you have heard about MySkills portal. Maybe you have heard your trainees talking about MySkills portal. And yes, from from what we have experienced in the past, our trainees, they just love this platform because it's hands-on, it's available 24/7. There's always support available some way or the other. They are in contact with me via email, WhatsApp, Telegram. Either way, they can get hold of me if they do get stuck. So this is basically a self-paced platform that we have available for trainees. They simply log into their library, they access their simulation, and they go through the video recordings, they complete their simulations, they upload them, and at the end of the day, they also, the portfolio of evidence get assessed with their appropriate rating, with a personalized report, and then the training officer and themselves, they can then use these reports to complete their ANAs and the like. All right, so MySkills Portal is also a very useful kind of platform in the sense that it has a mobile app available. So whenever your trainee is on the go or they're waiting to get on with the job, or they are just not really busy, then they can hop onto their mobile app and they can just simply continue with their training. MySkills Portal, some available simulations that we have there, I've listed them there for you on the screen, and most of them are very familiar to you. We have risk and governance, we have financing and investment decisions, cash flow management. I'm not going to go through them all, but I'm going to just highlight 2 new courses that we did make available during the course of this year. That's commercial law, business rescue, more for the cyber trainees, but anybody who's interested in those topics can join in. We're also going to introduce some new topics as from next year. That would be practice management, some tax courses as well. One course that I did not include here, which might be of interest to you, is the Auditor in Charge course as well. And the Auditor in Charge course is a 2-day course. It's also available here on MySkills Portal. Very much for your final year, meant for your final year trainees, who is going to stay on and fulfill the role of a senior accountant or a supervisor in that matter. So that's basically 2 days. First day, taking you through a Talkries leadership program where they get to know themselves. They also get to know other people around them based on the Talkries leadership profile or philosophy. And then the second day, we look at roles and responsibilities, how the final year trainee or even the supervisor in their new role can then support the rest of the team and so forth. So really, really helpful, practical course, the Auditor in Charge. And then, of course, I'm going to take you through the Ethics Continual program as well. That's our new program that we have been running since the start of this year. And as you can see there, it's a 12-month program. You actually pay once for this program, a once-off fee. And this will give you access to 12 months worth of content. And I think maybe just before I get started, what is this program? Who is this program for? Initially, we only made it available for the trainees, especially psycho trainees, as part of the C9 requirements. You will remember that there are currently 2 indicators for the C9 requirements for the psycho training regulations. And the purpose of this program is really trying to fulfill or meet the second indicator there. All right, so this is the purpose of this program. It's mainly for the psycho trainees, but it's also very, very helpful and purposefully laid out for the more experienced trainee or senior on the job, manager, partner level, actually members, associates, any staff member that's interested in ethics training. This program is really packed with a lot of licensed content that will be helpful in establishing an ethical culture, also helping with leadership development, self-awareness, awareness of others. And we also included there John Maxwell licensed content, which I'm sure you are familiar with. John Maxwell is a well-known leadership expert, global leadership expert. We also have included our EI activator content there, more on the emotional intelligence side based on the Talltree's philosophy, and then more and more content. So what we will have on a monthly basis is basically access to your monthly topic, which I will go through in a little while. There's a 5-minute ethics moment, compliance moments, which you can just simply download. You read it in front of people attending the meeting just before you start the meeting to help you set the scene for or positioning the meeting before everybody gets started. That's a good way to just start off any meeting, by the way. There are lots and lots of practical resources, tools, reflection exercises for you. Simply download it, complete it, reflect, file it, everything done for you. And of course, people attending this program will also have access to myself and Hetty Brits, who's hosting this program. I'm not going to go into too much detail yet. This is just to show you what is available within the program. You will see there on the right-hand side, we call it a success path. It's a roadmap. So each month we have a topic that we deal with the related resources, and every 30 days or so, we drip the content out and you will have access to the following month's content. And we go all the way for the duration of 12 months until we have covered all the topics. So we can just page through that. We also cover, well, personal ethics, we do business ethics, moving along there. We have professional ethics as well. You can see it's quite an extensive program. And I think the purpose here is to really ensure that we establish a continual ethical behavioral culture within our organizations and where we work. So as I said, it's packed with a lot of resources that you can use, which is practical. They resource, they license content, which could be very, very helpful. And this is just a quick screenshot of how the library would then look like in the back end. So on the left-hand side, you will have your monthly content. You can access it directly there. And then also we have a Q&A. So if you have a question, you can simply submit it, contact me, and we will be on it. Basically, 3 options available for joining this program. Option 1 obviously is the most popular one. It's 1,999 per person, and if you work backwards, it's just over 150 rands a month with all that content, valuable content. And option 2 is a slightly more expensive, because that one includes the full Talltree's leadership profile along with additional content. Apart from the program. Option 3, that's our flagship one, which include both the full Talltree's profile as well as the EI activator report, which is consisting of almost 100 pages filled with personalized EI resources, tools, reflections, and all of that. So yes, that's the roadmap that I have there on the right hand side once again. And if you want to learn more about it, you are welcome to contact me, and I'll explain further. Right.
Thank you so much for that, Lynette. It's heartwarming, once again, always to have ethical champions in our profession. So that's that from our ethical champion, Lynette Berger. Ladies and gentlemen, the next part flows from that. It's one of our supporting role players in the ethics framework or the ethics training that we have. It's simply just supplementary. It is the code of conduct training. I do facilitate it myself, and I just just thought to summarize the limits and the extent of this kind of training. As Lynette Berger mentioned, the trainees, the SAICA trainees, have very strict requirements for them. So I wouldn't advise looking to this for those compulsory ethics. That is what the continual program is for. But what we then do have for managers and for partners, just for that annual refresher, for that annual CPD that you have to comply with, especially for URBA members, your auditors in practice, that are required to have 3 hours as a minimum of CPD activities on ethics. Of course, those 3 hours do not necessarily have to be training, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't take it as that. But training is one of the options. And as we are very serious and passionate about ethics, as we mentioned, we do try and cover all the bases. And of course, the code of conduct is one of the guidelines in our profession that try and get us to that standard. So this is what these courses are then for, to just get you back into that perspective of what do the codes require of us as accounting professionals, how can we adhere to that, and how can we improve our ethics at the end of the day. You will see, unfortunately, only individual bookings are available for this kind of session. It is running on our VT platform currently, so regrettably also no recordings made available. As attendance is encouraged live, we also try to make these sessions as practical as possible, encouraging participation, etc. And then we have 3 different groups that we cater for. The URBA members, which is the main group, your accounting professionals in public practice, that is our second group. Please do take note of that. It is for members that do not render assurance services. So for your accountants in public practice that render both audit and non-assurance services, I would still advise attending the URBA session. Of course, your provisions from the code that apply to your public practice members are still applicable to auditors as well. So please do not feel that you are required to attend both. I wouldn't advise that. I would rather advise them contacting us, getting information on what would be the best one to attend, instead of doing 2 things that might then end up taking much of your time and not adding that much value that you expected. Right, but if you do not render assurance services, of course, then the second group would be more fitting. And then for accounting professionals in business, those that are internal experts, internal accountants and auditors, internal advisors, tax specialists, etc., that do not render any services in the public space, that is what our third grouping is for. And then just a summary of what all of these courses include. You'll see that we have issued a disclaimer there at the bottom, as I've already mentioned. And please also take note, ladies and gentlemen, that your ethics remain your responsibility. So we are here to assist in the best way that we possibly know how, but your self-assessment, your self-reflection, your CPD activities that the regulatory bodies require of you remain your responsibility. And my colleague Tristan is going to speak up next about our CPD platform that can assist you with that, but we just want to make it clear that these courses are not necessarily the beginning and the end of all ethics training, and that's all you're going to get. There are many other methods that you can improve on your ethics. One of the value adds that we really try and give with these courses that we're also going to expand to the 2 other groups this year, we piloted it basically with our URBA members group, is to provide you also with a template document, a template or an example that can assist you to ensure that you also adhere to the documentation needs when it comes to ethics and when it comes to complying with the code itself. So that's also something then to look forward there. Of course, it is only an example, so you can make it your own and change it as you deem fit. But we are simply trying to assist you in trying to adhere to the code and meaning it as well from the inside out. That is the purpose of these sessions. But that is it. Just my little snippet on ethics. Tristan, over to you for the CPD platform.
All right, ladies and gents. So I'm just going to speak into the CPD requirements. So of course, as you are familiar, the requirements have changed over the last 2 years. And in this year specifically, so in 2021, there was the addition of the need to do some ethical self-reflection. And so this was a change that was instituted by SAICA. And so how we can assist in terms of your CPD reporting as a whole, and also in terms of this new requirement that was introduced by SAICA in April, is that we've got our own platform. And so maybe you have used it before, maybe you haven't, maybe this is the first time you're hearing about it. And so pretty much what we're trying to do is we're just trying to make your life easier by giving you a one for all kind of place where you can go and document all of your CPD activities. So our platform, what it allows is for you to document all of your CPD activity in line with the new requirements that had come out in 2020, so from SAICA's perspective as well as URBA. And so their approach to CPD and CPD reporting has changed somewhat. So with SAICA, we've got a 3-stage approach, whereas with URBA, we've got a similar approach, but just the addition of the need to do some revision. And so we've basically taken those 2 sets of requirements and have had that feed into our platform, which then covers you on the SAICA side as well as the URBA side. And so in 2021, we introduced the ability to also do your ethics self-reflection. And so our platform has a couple of advantages. I would say one thing that is very, very helpful is the possibility to do self-assessment. So in you planning your CPD activities for the year, so for example, you want to spend some time learning about IFRS 16 leases, or you want to learn about the attorney's profession and how to audit that. Those are, for example, topics that you could think about that you would want to spend your time on during the course of the year. And so our platform facilitates you testing yourself to see if those indeed are items that you could then spend your time on, or topics that you could try and address. And so how we do that is through the functionality called a self-assessment. So we built into our platform the ability to test yourself. In other words, we have built in a quiz, and so you can do a quiz on any topic you would like. So whether it's tax related, soft skills related, accounting, audit, anything under the sun, we have a self-assessment for that. In other words, a quiz that you can then use to go and test yourself to see if indeed you should be spending time on a given topic. And so what makes it difficult, or what can be difficult in terms of that, is how do I go and prove to SAICA, or how do I go and prove to URBA that I've done the self-assessment, because that is essentially what they require. That's both of their first steps, planning or otherwise self-assessment. And so how we help you in terms of that to prove that you've actually done that self-assessment is that once you've been able to complete the quiz on our platform, you will then be awarded with a certificate. And so to just quickly show that certificate to you, this is pretty much what you'll see after you complete a quiz in relation to a topic. So for example, I did a quiz on a soft skills topic being adaptability and flexibility. And so this is the proof that you can then furnish to SAICA or URBA. So whenever you're doing a little quiz on our platform, it will then produce a certificate which you can then submit if needs be, if you're selected by the professional bodies to submit your proof of your CPD activity. The other thing that our platform allows you to do is to generate a certificate. And so or a report. So I'm going to quickly show you an example of a report. So at the end of the year, once you've documented all of your topics for those various phases of CPD reporting, you'll then have a report that you can submit to the professional bodies. And so it will have all of your particulars. And then for all of the topics you've selected, so for example, as a technical topic, body corporates, here's proof of planning phase and how you've actioned it and the reflection that happened. And so whatever it is that you've chosen, the topics that you've listed or identified, those then will be pulled into your report, and that you can then furnish to the professional bodies if needs be. So just to quickly show you how to get there, or how to navigate there. So all you need to do is open up your internet browser, and then within Google, you can just type in Probeta training, spelling. And the first result is usually the correct one. So it takes you to the booking site. When you land on the booking site, you'll click on products and services on that drop down, and then you'll just cast your eyes to the middle, and you'll see there is a link called CPD reporting. And so this is how you can get to that CPD reporting link. If you haven't registered before, you can then create a profile here. Our subscription price is 57 Rand 50 per month. Alternatively, if you've got a profile, you can log in. What I'm going to show you on this platform is just how you can pretty much meet those new requirements in terms of the ethical self-reflection. So the change that happened during April 2021, SAICA says you have to do self-reflection on 3 subcategories of ethics. And so we've built that into our platform. This is pretty much how our platform looks. Here are all the little sort of overall categories that we've chosen. And in order to do self-reflection, there's a dedicated button. So you click on the self-reflection button, and then you can go and choose the category or the subcategory of ethics that you want to go and do some reflection on. So in other words, the questions you need to ask yourself, in terms of those three. And so this is pretty much how you'd then be able to go and do your self-reflection, and then you can go and print your reports. The reports I've just shown you, and then for all of your ethics self-reflection, you can then print a separate report, and those two together will be what you'd use to then submit to the professional bodies to prove that you have done your bit in terms of CP reporting. And so pretty much that's all I am here to share with you. I'm now going to hand over to the next presenter.
Thank you, Tristan. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, so as I said earlier, we don't only have training sessions as products. Of course, we have a range of other products as well. And the one option that we do have is guides, manuals, and other products which can just help companies ensure compliance with legislative matters, such as POPI or promotion of access to information. You can see the manuals and toolkits there. We also have an HR manual. And then also that can help practices, especially auditing and accounting firms, with their practice management. So we have a training office policy and procedures manual, which allows you to comply with certain SICA requirements. We have our ISQM, the quality management manual. We have some tax guides and tax products to help you with your clients, the new product, the accountant's deadline calendars, the employer's guide that we created. I think the first one was this year, helping you with the requirements of, as I said, legal compliance, and then also practice management and providing services to your client. We're also creating new templates each and every day with regards to engagement. So we have engagement letters that we have that is available for sale. We have guides and documents, for instance, our decision tree on whether or not you're allowed to audit a financial statements while also doing a compilation, or is it necessary to do a review. We have a CIPC compliance checklist. So we're trying to make Excel templates that can assist you in providing your services to your clients as well. So please just be aware of these products. They are all available for purchase individually, but then also when Cordelia introduces the hubs later on, they will also be made part of the hubs and available there. But I think that's it with regards to the guides and manuals. And then lastly, please take note that we do provide free assistance. Cordelia already mentioned it in the tax as well. Please just take note that we don't provide any legal opinions or tax opinions, but any question that you may have and you don't know where to look for information, where to turn, maybe it's something that we have picked up in our research, maybe it is something that we know, maybe we can refer you to someone that can help out. So any questions that you have, if you're not sure who to turn to or where to go to find the answer, please let us know. Email us. No asking is for free, and if we have the answer, we can answer you. The worst that can happen is that we don't know either, and then we can maybe research it for you. Right. So that is our other products. Thank you. And then I give you back over to Cordelia.
Thank you so very much, Yvonne and Tristan and Lynette, all of our presenters, for contributing today. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see already, we have a whole variety of products and items and expertise that can really assist you in your role as an accounting, tax or auditing professional. And then it is my honor to be the one to spread the news or break the news. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to release our new compliance hubs, the Probeta training compliance hubs. It is what I call the one place, one price platform. So on the left-hand side, you'll see there, we basically asked what people's needs are. What does the accounting professional need in his role or her role in the industry? And well, that is basically more time and access to information. The information age that we live in today, everything seems to be readily available, but you have to invest the time to actually go and look for it. So that's where we come in. You'll see there at the bottom, we are pleased to meet your needs and to hopefully also satisfy them. Our new compliance hubs aim to do exactly that, to give you access to whatever you need to be the complete accounting professional. We have included a link there for you if you want to view it so long. I am going to show it to you in just a moment's time. just to get all the drab admin out the way. On the right-hand side, you'll see there it does include training. Yes, it is, as Yvonne mentioned, the CPD revolution. But ladies and gentlemen, we as accounting professionals are not necessarily bound only by CPD. Yes, we need to adhere to the regulatory bodies and all of the requirements that there are, but we also just simply want to know what's going on. We want to have the information that allows us to perform our duties to the best of our abilities. So what this platform also allows for is research material, also a consulting opportunity, but anything from articles to just general research and regular updates in your relevant field or in the hub that you are subscribed for, everything at one monthly subscription value. So you don't need to go and buy every piece of research, every recording, every piece of training material on its own separately. That is what our canonic training is for, which we'll discuss on the last slide. But this is simply for those professionals. If you are, for example, an auditor or a tax practitioner, you would have your auditing hub and your taxation hub, or an external accountant would have the accounting hubs where you have everything in one place. All the lessons and all the CPD that you could possibly need, and then also important announcements and updates on matters that are relevant to that hub. Of course, we would notify you of those updates. So we might be spamming you a little bit, but in my opinion, it is a good spamming. It is something that brings good news because then you are kept up to date. You remain relevant in the field. And then you'll see the other value add there, a direct line to your hub consultant. Also free assistance. Our terms and conditions still apply, so it is still no opinions, no legal advice, etc. But if we know the answer, why shouldn't we help others to also make life a bit easier where we can? And then the last bit there on the screen, you will see just the categories that we have available. We are adding to that as we go along. So accounting, auditing, tax, all of our main groups. Ethics, also a main group in our profession. Please do not forget about it. And then you'll see we have two groups there, trainees and managers. Now, for the trainees, I just want to point out that this is not the same as the MySkills portal. If you are in doubt as to whether the hub or the MySkills portal would be more suitable, you're welcome to give Lynette Berger a call, and then she will explain the difference between the two, just to guide you so that you comply with your trainees' CPD needs. But the trainee and the manager hubs are basically our version of a tailored hub, where we get some input from our clients, and we also, from our experience coming from the industry ourselves, we tailor that hub to have information on accounting, auditing, tax, ethics, everything that a manager or a practitioner for that matter might need in order to be that well-rounded accounting professional and to ensure that you can perform your duties in a manner of excellence. So what I would like to do at this point is just to demonstrate what the landing page looks like. If you go to the link that we provided, it will open up on the landing page. This is not necessarily the top. I am coming back to this in just a moment. This is what you will see when you open that screen up, and then you can browse the various hubs that are available at the moment. It will have a short outline that indicates what is available in each of the hubs. We simply wanted to point out this very last one. We left the best for last. There we go. Our practice compliance hub. Now, this is the one hub, ladies and gentlemen, that is really something that is aimed at giving you guidance on all the compliance fields or areas. So if you think about your QSM, your quality control management that Yvonne mentioned, other types of compliance manuals that you might need, this is then where our practice compliance hub comes into play. We'll also then add the outlines there, and you can also view the detailed content, what is available as and when it is added. Just to give you an indication of what the detailed content would look like, just to refer back, apologies, to show you, for example, the income tax hub. You would have a button there that takes you to view content, which allows you to simply see what kind of matters, what kind of topics are dealt with in this specific hub. Right, and if you go to that page, it will simply summarize for each category. So for taxes, you have various categories: income tax, your deferred taxes, corporate tax, personal tax, etc., with its subcategories or subtopics, as we call them. To subscribe, of course, just to refer back to the main landing page, there is a subscribe now button. You'll see that the pricing differs depending on the type of hub. You'll see that the pricing is still quite favorable, I would say. If you think about the fact that you really receive everything, that is why it is a complete content hub. You really receive resources, your examples of working papers, templates. You'll see even for the tax section or the tax compliance hub that we have here, your income tax guides, your payroll guides, and then of course that consultation that goes along with it. Now, with regards to subscription, once you click subscribe now, it will simply take you to the subscription page. It will give you payment instructions that you need to follow. Our payments are facilitated via an online payment functionality, Pay Fast. So as with any of your common online stores, you have to capture your payment details and it is done automatically. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you are able to subscribe for multiple hubs. However, if you do so, please do load them on different payment instructions. The reason that we encourage that is because the moment that you deregister or unsubscribe for any of your hubs, and all of your hubs were loaded as one payment. Unfortunately, the way PayFast works, it will cancel the entire payment instruction, which means you would have to resubscribe for one of the hubs that you wish to remain subscribed for. So please just take that into account. But everything else, it is safe and secure directly on the payment facilitator's domain, basically. Then just with regards to the FAQs, we have loaded FAQs on the platform or on the websites. We are adding to this as and when we receive questions as well. So just a few FAQs here to get you going, to just give you a bit of an indication of what this hub does, what is the benefit for you, other questions, how long will your content be available in the hub? Technically indefinitely, ladies and gentlemen, until it is updated. So as long as you are subscribed to the hub and as long as the information remains relevant. Of course, it is our mission in life to keep you up to date. So the moment, for example, that new tax laws or new auditing standards are pronounced and are published, we are going to remove the old content and publish the new content. But whatever courses you have completed, so whatever assessments you have completed on the online system, whatever CPD certificates you have, those will remain intact. It is only to update the content itself so that you can have the most recent, the most relevant content at your fingertips. Right, and then you'll see there are also some questions here. How do you know which compliance hub to subscribe to? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the groups that we have do give an indication depending on your role. But if you are unsure, you're welcome to contact us. You're welcome to have a look at the tailored hubs to see what is included there. Otherwise, you can even give us an indication of what you would like to see in a hub. For example, if you subscribe to the auditing or accounting compliance hubs and there is perhaps a topic or a matter that you would like to see there that you are currently not seeing there, give us a shout and then we can look into that and add it if it is possible. Right, so that is also part of the other FAQs. Then just briefly also to show you what it would look like if you have then subscribed. This is what a members page would look like. Your products all listed in one place. And then, of course, you can go and view your product, which would open up such as this. So this is then the auditing compliance hub with all of its categories. And you can see there's quite a lot already loaded. Now, this is not the only thing that you receive, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, as we mentioned, you have your expert, your compliance hub consultant that you can approach directly via the platform. You would have noted on the landing page, there's also a contact us button where you can lodge a query, and then we will ensure that it reaches the relevant consultant. Now, for each of these categories, you also have your subcategories, your sub elements, as we call it, which is then your course material, or if there is research material, articles that have been published, etc., that we will also then load onto this platform. So to give you an indication on the auditing side as well as the tax side, this is then what one of those lessons would look like if you've opened it up. So your course material all in one place, your lesson video, your lesson content, even the overview to show you what is this lesson about. If you're not sure if you have to watch it or don't have to watch it, of course it's up to you. because you subscribe to the Compliance Hub and you get access to everything in that hub, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to use everything. You don't have to do all of the courses, but it is up to your discretion. Once you have completed your lesson, then you are welcome to do the post-assessment, everything facilitated online, everything kept safe and secure on the system itself. Of course, once you unsubscribe, then you won't have access to it anymore. So as long as your subscription remains active, everything will be there for you. And then just a snippet for the tax professionals in session today. I think this is something that is quite relevant for you to at least have an annual refresher on what happened in taxes during the year. And if you do subscribe to the Tax Compliance Hub, that is exactly what you are going to get. So our annual budget and tax update comes with that Compliance Hub. Our monthly tax updates come with the Compliance Hub. You'll remember that we talked about monthly legislative updates as well. That will then be part of the other Compliance Hubs as it is relevant to various roles of accounting professionals. So if you go to your view content tab, it would then be reflected there if it is included in the hub. But for tax professionals, of course, this is a must-have just to know what's going on in the profession. But ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this is really a we do it for you platform, where the most that we are going to ask from you is, of course, to subscribe, but then to sit patiently and wait for content to be loaded. If you'd prefer to attend live webinars, you are still welcome to do so. We're not going to prevent you from doing that, but you don't have to if you don't have the time, if you prefer doing self-paced training. If you subscribe to the hub, everything will be loaded there as soon as it is available. And of course, this hub comes with the same quality promise that we have at Probeta Training ourselves, because it is run by Probeta Training. All of the presenters that you've heard about today, except for the external experts, as the compliance hubs, they represent a Probeta Training internal platform. So you'll find Yvonne's content, Lynette Badenhorst, Lynette Berger, Tristan, and my own content. You'll find all of that on the hubs as well. So the only thing that you won't see there would be the external presenters on the compliance hubs. And so then, ladies and gentlemen, just the last bit, please do bear with me, there is still more, just to explain the brief difference between the compliance hubs and the Akanani training platform. Yvonne also introduced it earlier on as one of our self-paced training platforms. The main difference between the two is that the hub, as I mentioned, is intended as a one place, one price type of platform, where I am an accounting professional. I want to subscribe for the accounting hub and I want everything. I want access to all of the webinars, or well, recordings and course material, all of the research, all of the working papers, etc. in that hub. Akanani training caters more for your individual that wants to mix and match. Now, the hubs, unfortunately, you cannot subscribe for one this month, for another next month, and then try and mix and match it like that. Akanani training makes that possible because now I am an auditing professional. I want a little bit accounting, a little bit of auditing, a little bit of tax. So now I go and select my courses and I book per course on Akanani training. Do not fret. Once again, the quality promise applies to Akanani training as well. We do have various external presenters on this platform, though. The reason for that is also because it is extended to your university students, your scholars, your soft skills, any other kind of training that you can possibly think of. We do try and cater for that on Akanani training. And for that reason, you are able then to go and apply to basically any level of learner or student that you want to. But everything that is presented from Probeta training, we also then extend to Akanani training. But you will see people that are not necessarily from Probeta training on Akanani as well. Right, and that is then the end of all of our stories, I suppose. Thank you once again to all of the presenters. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. We do appreciate the support and the interest that you show in our products. If you have any other questions, queries, feedback, any requests, please do let us know. Enjoy the rest of your day.